Hey everyone, it is Jonah, and I am back with another video. And today I'm going to be doing some power rankings for all 4 teams of The Voice. I'm going to do a video for Team Blake, for Team Kelly, for Team John, and Team Nick. And I'm also going to give battle pairing predictions also. I haven't watched the sneak peek of the battle round at all, or I haven't even watched the video where they said the first battle pairings of the week, so I have no idea about this. I'm just guessing off of just similar kind of voices and what I think the judges will do, or want on their team, and how they're going to go about picking between and figuring out who pairs what together. But before I go into those pairings, I will go into my predictions. But yeah, so before I get into this full video, if you guys like The Voice and like my videos, please feel free to subscribe down below for more content. I would really appreciate it. I react to The Voice. I do voice power ranking videos weekly, and so if you guys like that, please give this video a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Okay, so the first video I'm gonna do is Team Blake. So coming in at 10, first of all, there's obviously 10 people on every team. So coming in at 10th, and before I get into this, these are all my opinions. So these are just how I feel people are at, based off of how I heard them in the lines and how I feel like they're going to be doing future rounds on the show, just trends on the show, and like what team they're on has a play in that. So it's just kind of what I've heard. So just my opinions. So if you have different opinions, that's okay. I would love to hear what they are in the comments. But yeah, so coming in at 10, I'm gonna have Savanna Chestnut. So I liked her voice a lot. I just wanted to hear a little more from her, and I feel like I don't feel like I heard enough in her voice to warrant me maybe being even higher. She could surprise me down the road, obviously, but I think potentially she has a powerful voice, but I just didn't hear it. A lot of it, at least from her performance. I think that she was good enough to get a chair turn. I just don't know whether or not, like, if she's gonna make it farther than the battle on the show. So yeah, coming in at 9, we have Ethan Lively. So it's honestly kind of a weird season for Team Blake. There isn't that many country artists, because like Ethan and Jordan, I guess Avery too, those 3 are like the only 3 country guys. And I guess you could maybe even throw Connor into that mix, because Connor has like a country, deep, breathy tone. But I have Ethan down at 9 just because, like, he is young and he has a really nice voice for his age, and it sounds very mature and very surprising. But I didn't hear a lot of power from it. I didn't hear a lot of, like, just tricks he was doing with his voice. So I'm just wondering, like, what else he can do. And because of that reason, because of that unknown, that's why he's so low. But he could shoot up in the battle. I have a pretty good feeling he may end up shooting up in the battles. But yeah, so coming in at 8, we have Emma Caroline. And honestly, Team Blake's team is pretty stacked from this point on. And I feel like any of these next 8 people could be ranked in the top 3. My opinion. It's just a matter of where I wanted them to get put. But yeah, so coming at 8, like I said, was Emma Caroline. I thought she had a really nice tone, but kind of the same thing as the others. It's not like a power standpoint, like what else you can do with your voice. Like, I just didn't hear like maybe like the it factor with this bunch. But at the same time, though, you don't want to show all that you have in your arsenal at your first audition. You want to keep bringing more and more and stuff into the equation, so you can end up getting farther and farther on the show and then peaking at the right time. So maybe that's what she's doing. I don't know. But again, there's that unknown thing about the artist that I can't put them any higher if I don't know how much power they have in their voice. So that's kind of why I have the 3 that I have low. Then now at 7, we have Aaron Konzelman. So Aaron has a very nice rocky voice, rocky tone, and he's definitely going to be in his own lane on the show. But rock artists do not tend to go far on this show at all. It's pretty much been like, even like who is that guy? Todd. Not Todd Tilghman, but the other Todd that was on that same season where he went to the 4-way knockout and ended up losing. Like, he was the last time there was a rock artist. I thought he should have gone farther than he did. They just tend not to go as far as you think on the show, and I don't think he's going to end up making it through. Off of who I think, if he gets paired with who I think he's going to get paired, I don't think he'll make it through. But I like his voice a lot. I just don't know if there's anything left that he has to give, like more power. I thought he showed a lot of power with that performance, but maybe like if he gets past the battles, maybe showing a more soft side of his voice, maybe that could work in the knockouts. I don't know, like maybe just showing like another layer to his voice that could end up working dividends on the show. So yeah. Then at 6, we have Connor Christian. And honestly, Connor is one of my favorites on this show this season. I thought he had an amazing tone. He reminded me of Ian Flanagan in a way. Not as dark, but kind of that same breathy, raspy, kind of gargly tone that he has. And I love the song choice. I thought he had a lot of power in his voice. I thought he had a lot of charisma. And I think that he's someone to look out for going far on the show just because of that tone. Because how unique it is. If you hear that on the radio, you're going to immediately know who it is. Like that's what you want with an artist. You want to know who they are immediately. You want to just recognize that tone. You want to recognize that uniqueness in them. And you want to just say, oh, that's Connor when you hear on the radio. So that's why I have him at 6. And then at 5, we have Pete Mroz. So Pete is someone that I think that is going to surprise people. Not only does he have an amazing voice, an amazing tone, like really high quality to his voice, he seems like he can do a lot with his voice. And on top of all this, he was in the same band with Blake 20 years ago, right? So I feel like Blake may end up keeping him around farther in the show just because like a favorite of Blake, maybe like Blake may show a little favoritism here, but I do think we're gonna end up seeing Pete in the live shows. And just right now, currently, I have him I have him at 5. Sorry about that. I have him at 5 because of how stacked Team Blake is. But yeah, I love Pete's voice. He's someone to look out for on this show. So yeah. And then at 4, I have Jordan Matthew Young. I think Jordan Matthew Young, he's going to end up being the guy on Team Blake this season, like country-wise. There's always one, like last season, Jim Ranger, the year before, Todd Tilghman. There's always one person that's just going to ride to the finale with Team Blake, who's kind of more in the country lane. And I do think that this year it's going to be Jordan Matthew Young. He just has, like, the real country grit to his voice. He has a nice tone. He can do a lot with his voice. And I think that he seems to have a lot of stage presence, too. Now, one thing that I didn't like is that when he was picking his coach, he said it's definitely not Kelly, or like it's definitely between Blake and Nick, which I kind of felt was kind of rude. So I'm not really sure how they felt, how Blake feels about that. He probably just thinks it's funny, but I don't know. In my mind, it's like, that's kind of rude to say who got last place, but I don't know. So in 3rd, I have Keegan Ferrell. And Keegan, if you watch my reaction video to him, I said that he reminded me of Thunderstorm. And just because of that soothing tone that he has and the amount of power that he can get and then back down a little bit. I love the song choice. I think that She Will Be Loved by Maroon 5 is a great song. And I think that it shows a lot of falsetto and range that you have in your voice. And I think that he has potential to go pretty far on this show. And I would not be surprised at all if we see him in the lives. And I think there's a pretty good chance we will see him in the lives. Which I thought he had an amazing voice, and I can't wait to see what he does in the battles. Then at 2, we have Avery Roberson. So this is someone that got a 4-chair turn and somebody that just absolutely just killed it. He had a great country voice, soothing tone, but I don't know. I'm just not. I feel like this is going to be the artist on the season that gets a little bit robbed. There's always a couple that get robbed who don't end up going as far as you think on the show, and I think this is someone who will end up losing the knockouts. I don't know why. I have a feeling, which I want him to make it to the line. I think he has an amazing tone and everything, but I just think that he'll end up losing in the knockouts for some reason, and I don't know why. Maybe because like he's like a later on knockout and there's no more steals left. That could be a reason. But I just feel like he's gonna be someone that will end up losing the knockout. Sadly, I really enjoy Avery's voice. He kind of he's like a storyteller. He gets you involved. He keeps you focused on what he's doing. And I felt like he really drew me into his performance. I'm really hoping for the best for him, but I just feel like he's going to be someone that we see go home early than we think. So, at 1, I have Cam Anthony. So Cam Anthony is someone to watch out for on the show. He is somebody that I think can make it to the finale. He's someone that I think could win the show. He has a very, 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 very nice voice, very nice tone, very large range. He's powerful, but he can also back down. The runs he can do is just amazing. And I think that he's somebody that is going to go far on this show, and that I think with the kind of honestly, I think he'll stand out on Team Blake. I kind of like that he picked Team Blake. I think that kind of just shows what he can do, or not what he can do, but like that he likes to take risks. And I think that for Cam's sake, I think that was a good choice. I think that it kind of puts him in its own lane on Team Blake, and it's something that I think could end up working dividends for him on the show, and I think that he's somebody that we will see in the live shows. So yeah, so out of the 10 people on Team Blake, the 3 people that I think are most likely to get to the live shows are Cam Anthony, Keegan Ferrell, and Jordan Matthew Young. Then Pete Mroz would be a close 4th. But yeah. So now for battle pairing predictions. So what I did here is I kind of just looked at similar voices and who I feel like could get matched up with who. And the first one is Cam Anthony and Keegan Ferrell. I think that if this matchup happens, it will be a steal performance. These are both people who have kind of soothing tones and storyteller vibes to their voices, and I think they would end up matching up pretty well. The only issue is that they're both really talented and both people who are like kind of in the top half of Team Blake. So if Blake decides to do this, he's risking letting one of them go, and then if he ends up saving one of them, again, he's risking them not winning the 4-way knockout and then losing one of them in the long run. So, but yeah. So for the second one, this one I kind of just looked at, who are Blake's country grit people on this show this season, and that's Jordan Matthew Young and Ethan Lively. I do think that those two will end up getting paired up, and I think that because of this kind of the country grit that they have, Avery could end up being with one of them too, but I think Avery kind of has more of a soothing tone to his voice, and not necessarily like all country. I feel like if you want a great battle, Jordan and Ethan could definitely give you that, so yeah. And then for the third one, I have Avery Roberson and Emma Caroline. Emma Caroline has a country twang to her voice a little bit, but both of these people have very soothing tones to their voices, and I think that the winner of this will end up being Avery. But yeah, I definitely think that if these two get paired up, that'd be a great battle because they both have soothing tones and they both kind of give you storyteller vibes in a way. So I think that could definitely be similar voices pairing there. So then my fourth one is Connor Christian and Aaron Konzelman. Both of these have very breathy tones, very unique tones, very gritty, and I think that definitely they would match up pretty well together. I think Connor will end up pulling this one out just because I think his voice has a little more uniqueness to it, but I think this would be a great battle to watch for. So yeah, and then Pete Mroz versus Savanna Chestnut. It's going to be the last one. And honestly, like, I did the first 4 pairings first, and this is just the 2 that kind of was last on the list. So sometimes that happens. But I think sometimes pairings that you don't think will work, kind of like differences you attract sometimes, right? Or opposites attract, right? So I think that maybe this is